So this is the FrameThrower. It's a device that sits in between the Amiga video driver, the Denise chip, and it sends signals through this Raspberry Pi camera cable. This one here is actually designed for the Pi 02, so it's different to the other ones. That's the only one I have, so it's the one we'll be testing today. What we're doing here is we need to put some sockets in. And some pins in, and they offset. You'll notice here the little offset, so yeah, it creates basically the same spacing, offset from each other. The chip sits on top, the pins go into the socket, and the magic happens, and it needs to be programmed via this USB the first time, and in the future going forward it will be programmed via the Amiga itself, I have read. And of course all this stuff is up on GitHub from the people that created it. But you can get these boards and you can put them together yourself or finish them off yourself. So I'm going to use these sockets. They're just strip. They're lovely gold coloured, possibly brass. Okay. So what you want is basically the chip itself is going to be sitting like this. You have the pins on the other side. I'll double check how I had it. I don't think it makes a difference. But yeah, basically this goes this way, and then the pin part goes through. See if we can do it on camera. Look, we did it. There you go. So there you sort of have the pins sort of offset. The camera cable over there. Yeah, we'll continue in a second. Okay, so once you've chopped all the bits off that are in excess of what you need, it sort of look like this, and you'll notice that the pins are falling out now, but the idea is this probably explains it better. Both socket and the pins will be the same distance apart. Now it's a matter of waiting for the soldering iron to heat up. Okay, so a little step here is I've got these, so I decided to start with the sockets first. Okay, just take them down, just solder each end and make sure they are straight, which they're not at the moment, so do that before you solder too many pins. Okay, so just put the pins in there to show you. Remember, the pins go, the short end goes through the board, the long end hangs off the bottom. I find these work pretty well. Reliable and So yeah, just go through like that, and then that's what it would look like. And as you can see, it's a nice looking board. It's got interesting, and the camera cable goes in here. So the 15 pin on this end, and usually is the 15 pin on the other end inverted if it's for a Pi 3. It's a CM4, I'm going to have to use a straight one because it's the same connector on both ends, and that will be an interesting test, but we'll continue building this one. Okay, so again here what I've done is I've just soldered a few on, just line it up. We'll see whether it looks straight. Those are the pins at the bottom. Looks straight. So we'll continue. Now, this is basically it. The other part is flashing the firmware. So, and these boards aren't expensive to build, so it's well worth it to get together a group of people and to have some built. Okay, so it's all been soldered. The pins are on. The socket's on. It's a matter now of powering it up and flashing it. It's upside down. No Raspberry Pi logo. That's what's on there. That's what does the work. And let's have a go. Okay, so this is the FrameThrower that's in there at the moment, and this is the one we just put together. So we need to take it off. So first of all, this heatsink comes off, and this chip is all in there. So ideally what you want to do is get a tool to carefully pry it off. Okay, so most people are probably going to have to do this themselves, and this is the chip. It says right here, Denise, and this is where the FrameThrower will go, and the Denise chip will sit in this socket, like so. Looks very messy, but the way I'm going to do this one. Meanwhile, here we have to do something terribly dangerous and basically lift off the chip, which you won't be able to do with this tool. You'll need something that's really flat down. You'll have to use a pick or something not to damage it, slowly on each side, or one of those prying tools that just goes and takes it off. Rightio. So this one popped right out, and so hopefully yours got any problem with that. The next step is to mount it in the correct orientation. It says here the orientation that you want it to be. So carefully lining it up through the viewfinder. Something like that. Make sure that all the pins are straight on both sides without bending the pins at the bottom. You want to make sure everything is lined up perfectly before you make that final push. Remember, look at the notch, double check the board. Should line up. And quite a while later, we're still struggling to line this up. So people are going to have to be very patient. It's very easy to bend pins. Focus it a bit better, we'll see what I mean. So we're very, very close, but still there's a bit of resistance, and you need to work out exactly which part is causing the issue. And so here we have it, it's in, and you want it to be all the way in the pins to the base. Yeah. So now it's ready to go in to the socket. Let's see, line it up. You have to do it like that. And once it's positioned, it goes in. Then the camera cable will have to go around into the back of the Pi Zero, which is a bit of a stretch, but it can do it. So yeah, line it up, put it in here. The orientation is this way, the same orientation that it was before underneath there. Next step is to program the firmware on the chip.